The chase for the Season 5 Pizza Hut X Series Championship continues on here as we get ready for race number 2 of round 1 of the playoffs. We are here at the dirt-covered half-mile racetrack of Bristol Motor Speedway, getting ready to go racing for 40 laps of slippin' and slidin'. Now, coming into this race, one driver is worry-free, knowing he will move on to the round of 8, taking the checkered flag in our first chase race last week at Las Vegas, Eli Bright, who actually rolls off from the 5th position here tonight. I'll bet he would love to be able to go to victory lane again. If he did, he would head into the round of 8 with a 6 bonus point advantage, because as you move into each round, you get 3 extra bonus points for a race win that you have in the previous round. So right now, Eli Bright has a 3-point advantage over whoever the other 7 competitors are that are going to move on to the round of 8 against him. But if we have another playoff driver go to victory lane here tonight, they also would get locked into the round of 8 and also have 3 bonus points towards round number 2. And we have a playoff contender starting on the pole position, that being J Shelly in the 71. So we'll see if he's going to be able to utilize track position at a place that track position usually is important, as he'll start on the inside of the front row. Alongside of him, though, a driver that wants to get her first win of the season. She doesn't care about playoff points, and she's not in contention for the championship. That's C Ericsson. Then we've got non-chasers H Gallant and A Rowe making up row 2. A lot of drivers here want to utilize a track like this with good starting track position to get their first win of the season. For a couple of them, first win of their Pizza Hut X Series career. You look over on the right side of your screen, we have provided you with the playoff grid coming into this race. You can see sitting in that critical 8th position in points is Z Flickinger. Flickinger trying to keep drivers like Shelly, LaPlante, Parker, and Guenther at bay. Those 4 right now in the danger zone in the elimination spots. Would the round end now? And we move on to round number 2. We will keep you abreast of everything that's going on playoff-wise during the course of this race. Let's go down and get that command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And so as the command is given, these cars will roll off. Normally we give you your top 10, the point standings, so your playoff points coming to this race. We really don't need to do that because you're able to look at it on the right side of your screen. You can see, though, that Eli Bright has a yellow text after his name. That is the indication that he has won a race here in this round. He is automatically locked into the next round of the playoffs. And when we end up getting to the completion of this race and heading into our first elimination race of the season at Auto Club, if some drivers mathematically cannot be eliminated from making it into the round of 8, their numbers would also be in yellow text. So just keeping you aware of that. Here we go, though. 40 laps of racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's roll, baby! Somewhere in that cloud of dust is the field, as H Gallant to the inside, going to try and take the race lead and lead the first lap, and she will succeed in doing so. Shelly going to tuck in line in second. C Ericsson in third, as I believe the caution is already out. Yes, it is. Yellow flag out for the first time here tonight at Bristol. Not much of a surprise. These drivers race crazily here under the lights at Bristol Motor Speedway. You can see they're 3 wide all the way back there, and this is just under pacing. They were 3 wide under green. It's like Mark Davidson in the 29 brought out this yellow flag. Jake Rogers near the rear of the field here as well, but I don't think he was involved. Looks like it might have just been a single car incident as the field has kind of come to a stop here on the back straightaway. They got to get going here. They can't teleport. Oh, someone just teleported. That was Ryan George in the 4. Wonder if maybe something broke on that race car here under pacing. We're under caution for the first time here tonight, though, as H Gallant, the rookie, leads the way. Let's go back and see what happened to Mark Davidson. Well, really congested here in the midway port of the pack, and looks like LaPlante got a little tight off the corner, and at the same time, Mark Davidson cut down in the corner. LaPlante's going to get into Mark's left rear quarter panel, turns him down into the inside wall, and with oncoming traffic, even though everyone avoided, NSCRA officials no choice but to throw the caution. LaPlante coming into this race, currently situated 10th in the standings outside of the top 8, so you can bet he wasn't going to lift right there for a non-playoff contender. LaPlante fighting for every position he can, so that's what it is about short tracks. Short tracks, short tempers, and usually a lot of shortage of give and take as well, and we saw a clear case of that right here for our first caution of the evening. think when we get to the line, we should be 1 lap to green. We don't usually have that long of cautions here at Bristol, basically at the point of, because of the fact that this is a half-mile racetrack. Doesn't take them very long to get pace laps done. Let's find out where our playoff contenders are running, at least here at the point in time. Hyatt's running playoff contender, the pole sitter J Shelly. He's in 2nd. Diego Yepez currently runs in 5th. Eli Bright currently in 9th. Right behind him, Phil Parker in the 10th position, trying to combat a very poor performance back at Las Vegas last week. Go a little bit further back. J Gilbert's back in 18th. Z Flickinger right now in 24th. As we just got the 1 to green signal, you see the lap car of Ryan George going to get to the inside. LaPlante's going to restart in 28th. 29th place will be Quentin Moore. Juan Garcia back in 37th. N Guenther, who had a very poor performance back at Las Vegas as well, 36th. Patrick Curtis back here in 38th, and Cat Batson in 39th. So a couple of drivers mired near the rear of the field here for the restart. Green flag back in the air on lap number 8. Now Ryan George had to teleport to pit road there under pacing, so he's a lap down. Might be 2 laps down, actually. Scored in 41st. We have 1 driver out of the race, and that is the 29 of Mark Davidson. George just got himself back in the lead lap, but he might lose that lap again because J Shelly used him as a pick to get by H Gallant for the lead, and now he will bypass the 4, so Ryan George trapped a lap down once again. Caution waves for the 2nd time tonight. Looks like we had an incident in turn 1. Smoke lingering there in turn 1. Now, one thing I do know about this track, it is not very good in terms of grip. A lot of drivers entering into turns 1 and 3, all of a sudden they lose grip and the car slides up, and that might have been a case of what happened there. It looked like the way that the dust direction was going, like someone might have messed up going into the entry of turn 1. Going to see if anyone's got damage back here, and I don't really see anyone with damage. There is a car on the entrance to pit road, though, and that's the 69 of Alexander Rowe, as well as the 0 of Alex Gray. So those two might have been what brought out the caution. They might have wrecked and then saved it. There's a little bit of front-end damage on the Autotrader.com Ford. Oh, and there's damage there on the rear, you can see too. And he's out of the race, is Alexander Rowe. I think Alex Gray's actually out of the race as well. So whatever happened must have been a lot harder of a hit than it initially looked like. And it has put some more cars back behind the wall. J Shelly getting some bonus points, leading laps here tonight, as he's the race leader under our 2nd caution of the evening. Let's see what happened. Battle going into turn 1 for, I believe this was the 11th position. And it looks like Alex Gray just drove it in way too deep. Alexander Rowe was following behind Eli Bright. And that's some pretty hard hits up into the outside wall for both the 69 and the 0. These are not safer barriers, so it is not a light hit into the outside wall for these drivers. Woo, Sky Commons literally skinning by Alex Gray, and then a little contact again there between Gray and Alexander Rowe. Yeah, that wreck was entirely the fault of the 0. He just drove it in too deep and wasn't able to keep it down there. And it takes Alexander Rowe along with him, and wow, nice avoidance there as Charles Jackson and Garrett Sidner are going to split the 69. And there you see the caution lights on the pace car as he comes out of turn number 2. Now you see Patrick Curtis and Cat Batson mired back here near the rear of the field. The good news for them, though, is even though they're back here, with drivers retiring out of the race, they are picking up some valuable spots on track. So that's one thing, but certainly I think they want to be running a lot better than where they're currently at. 2nd caution, a couple more drivers back behind the wall. Let's go back for the green. Working our 2nd caution before the completion of lap 15. Lap 15 will go on the board here as we get ready to restart. Shelly, Gallant, Daniel Olson, Diego Yepez, and N Hudson. That's your top 5. Then it's Ericsson, Davis, Parker, Hyatt, and Bright, your top 10. Green flag back in the air as J Shelly trying to get ahead of the lap machine of Ryan George. George drove it in deep into the corner, trying to get his lap back. Out of the race now, 3 cars. Rowe, Gray joining Davidson in the garage area, and Ryan George, the lap car, plays a factor into a lead change once again. Last restart, Shelly got around Gallant with the help of the 4. Now Gallant gets around Shelly. Oh, look out, we got trouble there in turn 3. Jake Rogers, I think that was Patrick Curtis as well, cautions out again. I think I saw a car on pit road as well. I couldn't tell if it was Rob Evans or Andrew Gonzalez. And they just caught up to the tail end of the field here too, with a couple of playoff contenders, Kat Batson and Juan Garcia, who just ran into the back of James Shelly. Third caution of the evening, and tonight's race at Bristol turning into a wreck fest, it seems. And I think they lapped the 12 before they got back to the start-finish line. So I think Jake Rogers is now a lap down along with Ryan George. There's the 64 with damage, but was he the car I saw on pit road? He might have been. It was a black and red car. I couldn't tell if it was Rob Evans or if it was Andrew Gonzalez. As you see, the 1 of Nathan Hudson, who was up inside the top 5 for that last restart, he's on pit road now. And we're looking at the 48 of Patrick Curtis, who came into this race 6th in the playoff points. It looks like he is the first playoff driver to encounter some issues here tonight at Bristol Dirt. Hudson now, I think, coming around to the front section of pit road. Heather Gallant leads us under caution number 3. Let's go back and see what happened. Well, Andrew Gonzalez had damage from something earlier, I guess, and made an unscheduled pit stop. He was not the reason for this caution. This is what brought out the caution. Patrick Curtis, trying to get to the inside of Garrett Sidner, gets forced down across the nose of Jake Rogers, and both cars hit that inside wall, and then Kat Batson gets a piece of it as well there with the left front of her machine into Patrick Curtis, and both Curtis and Rogers slide up and hit the outside wall. And the race leaders, they were coming into view here in just a few moments, and they could very well have ended up LaPaging these drivers, because it doesn't take long to get around this racetrack. There you see Gallant coming into view. Fortunately, Curtis was down to the inside, and I think you're going to see right there, Gallant is actually going to get by Rogers by the time they cross the start-finish line. So 2 of our playoff contenders involved in this one. Curtis with the most damage, but also some damage on the left front of Kat Batson's machine. That's what puts us under the caution for the 3rd time here tonight at Bristol. Leaders for the last couple of restarts have had to deal with a lap machine. Now they're going to have to deal with 3 as Jake Rogers, Ryan George, Andrew Gonzalez all line up on the inside line. It's Gallant, Shelly, Olson, Yepez, and now Parker up to 5th. More drivers in the garage area, and the most notable, Patrick Curtis. 39th is where he will finish, so he's going to find himself in a bit of a deficit heading into Auto Club. As far as the playoffs are concerned, green flag back in the air, top 2. Oh my goodness! Wow, they were almost 4 wide back here for a moment. But the top 2 are going to clear the lap traffic. Then you got Ryan George, the lap car in 3rd. Here's a battle for 4th, 3 wide with the lap machine of Rogers. Parker trying to get by Olson. Olson nearly got put up into the wall by Rogers. And problems for Nathan Hudson. The 1 car on pit road yet again. What was looking like a promising night for him has gone south in a hurry. And here comes Phil Parker. Trouble! Save it! Save it! Rogers and Olson down into the wall. They do save it. Holy cow. Olson is not happy with the 12. And I can't say I blame him. Rogers nearly just wrecked Andrew Davis. Nearly sent Davis up into Chloe Ericsson. Right now, that 12 car is a weapon on track, and now he's holding up his own teammate, Eli Bright, our winner from last week. Looks like another car making unscheduled pit stops. That's the 64 of Andrew Gonzalez. Oh, man, we got to stay back here. This is where it's all getting hairy. 3 wide again back there. That's Baranauskas, Mason Wood, Elijah Gilbert. All these drivers getting wadded up into pretty precarious positions because they're all trying to get around the slower car of Jake Rogers. For now, looks like we're okay. Rogers has been relegated up to the top side of the racetrack, so maybe we'll start to get into a bit of a long green flag run. Heather Gallant has opened up about a 7/10 of a second advantage between herself and James Shelly. You got playoff contenders currently 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Shelly, Yepez, and a hard-charging Phil Parker. Ooh, a little contact maybe right there between the 31 and the 19. Parker's going to get the spot now, and now sets his sights on James Shelly in the 71. Phil Parker, our winner from Memphis, had that great battle all season long with Austin LaPlante for the points lead, but prevailed near the closing stages of the regular season. Last week, though, was anything but a good run for Phil Parker as he brought the 31 home in 41st place. Caution is out. We ended up having two playoff contenders finish 41st and 42nd last week. Parker 41st, Guenther 42nd. As a consequence, you can see where Parker is situated in the playoff points coming into this race, so a well-needed run for him as Heather Gallant. Ooh, I don't know if she might get a penalty for passing the start-finish line before the pace car picked her up. I guess not. But I think she was the last person to want to see that caution. She was really opening up a good gap between herself and that second-place battle. And I don't know who brought out the caution here. It might have actually been the 9 of M McIntire. McIntire finished 40th last week at Las Vegas. He's got damage, so I think he did bring out the yellow flag. So we'll get a restart with less than 10 to go. Let's see what brought out this, our 4th yellow flag of the evening. Wow, this was crazy back here, just inside the top 20. 3 wide off turn 2. That's N Canario up top, M McIntire in the middle, Carson Gum down low. 9 gets loose, gets up into N Canario. Sends Canario down into Carson Gum. You see Rob Evans back there as well with a save as he nearly went around off the nose of J Jefferson. Jefferson's going to get a piece of this wreck, though, as he gets into Carson Gum. Canario hard into the outside wall, and M McIntire as well. Look right there as Quentin Moore uses the 12 of Jake Rogers to help make his way through the corner. Almost send Rogers up into M McIntire. That was a lot of stuff going on between turns 2 down to the middle of turns 3 and 4. Canario with a struggling year. It just continues here at Bristol. He was 18th last time by. M McIntire was 20th. And also damage for the 99 of Carson Gum. Damage for J Jefferson. And also some added damage now as well to Jake Rogers. I don't know about Quentin Moore. The right side of his race car probably pretty pancaked after slamming into the side of Jake Rogers. But we're under caution once again, and we're setting up for a doozy of a finish here at Bristol. Now the lights are out atop the pace car. We'll go back green with 5 laps to go, and it will be a single file restart because we're less than 10 to go. So first, second, third, Gallant, Parker, and Shelly will have the lap machine of Ryan George between themselves and 4th place Diego Yepez. Then it's Hyatt in 6th. How about the full frontal motorsports cars? 6th, 7th, and 8th with Hyatt, Baranauskas, and Quail. Then you've got Andrew Davis in 8th, Daniel Olson in 9th, and Jessica Miles now in the top 10. Look and see if anybody else out of the race after that wreck, and indeed, N Canario has taken his car behind the wall as the green flag back out. 5 laps to go. Let's see if we can finish them under green. Heather Gallant trying to get her first win of the season. Phil Parker trying to get a win to lock himself into the round of 8. James Shelly trying to do the same as Phil Parker closing in on the 81. Shelly's going to get kicked up to the high side. Ryan George going to bypass him. That's not for position, but the pass for third is as Diego Yepez will take the spot. Parker looking. He's there to the inside. Caution! Caution's out. And I believe Gallant won the battle back to the line. I don't think we're getting back green. Quentin Moore's on pit road in the 89. That's M McIntire in the 9 car as well on pit road. Gallant by 8 100ths beat Phil Parker to the line, and I'm pretty certain this race is going to end under caution. The caution came out with 3 laps to go. And we now have 2 to go here. So this race is going to be official. Now what we're going to do here, since this is the closing stages of the race, we're not going to go back and look at what happened to bring out the caution. We're going to show it to you, courtesy of our NNSCRA split cam, as we will stay live here with the 81 of Heather Gallant. Gallant last season in the then Tax Slayer Truck Series, now Coors Light Truck Series, drove the number 43 truck to 2 victories, made it into the playoffs. This season didn't make it into the playoffs, but was looking to get her first win of her Pizza Hut X Series career, and now is 1/2 mile away from doing just that. Gallant had one of the strongest cars of the evening, and Phil Parker, had he made the move he was trying to make maybe 1 lap earlier, might have been able to sneak away this win to lock himself up a spot in the playoffs, but just an untimely moment for that caution to come out for Phil Parker, who probably had Heather Gallant dead to rights for that win. He had a much faster car in the closing stages, it looked like, but Heather Gallant with the aid of a caution at just the right moment. It's going to come out at turn number 4. It'll be her 3rd career overall victory in NNSCRA, her first in the Pizza Hut X Series here tonight at Bristol Dirt. And for some reason we had a scoring error where it shows 4th place on down off the lead lap, but that's not actually the case. Great runs, though, for 3 of our playoff contenders coming into this race. Diego Yepez, Phil Parker, and J Shelly all finishing in the top 5. Yepez, who came into this race 2nd in the point standings, this might very well allow him to head into Auto Club worry-free of falling out of the Elite 8. Phil Parker needed this run as he was 11th in the playoff points, and J Shelly was knocking on the door 5 points back from 3rd in the standings. Or from 8th in the standings. Wow, I can't talk. And this will probably move him up into the top 8, heading into Auto Club as well, a track that I know for a fact Shelly likes very, very much. Standings official, the rookie will take the win. Heather Gallant, who comes into this race currently situated in the... Okay, I can't find it. Wow, I'm blind. 30th position in points. Only 3 top 10s prior to this race and no top 5s. That changes here tonight. And you got Parker 2nd, Yepez in 3rd. Well-needed runs for them. How about A Baranauskas? Great run for her. I mentioned that 3 of the full front of motorsports cars were up here in the top 10 on that last restart. They all finished in the top 10 as well, as Joshua Hyatt and W Quail finished 6th and 7th behind Shelly in 5th. Daniel Olson brings it home there in 8th. After the troubles he had with Jake Rogers earlier on in this race. Rookie Andrew Davis, great run for him there in 9th, and Jessica Miles is going to complete the top 10. Then you get Carter Friesen, Mason Wood. Then a couple of chasers, Elijah Gilbert, Z Flickinger, 13th and 14th. And the Sky Commons will finish in 15th position. Now, Flickinger came into this race 8th in points, Elijah Gilbert 7th. So those two with top 15 runs well needed. That'll give them a little bit of a buffer back to 8th in the standings heading into our next race at Auto Club. Eli Bright came into this race completely worry-free. Left with a solid run of 16th, though. What about the rest of our playoff contenders finishing way down here, like N Guenther 23rd, Austin LaPlante back in 24th, Juan Garcia in 27th place. These drivers, ooh, they're going to be in a bit of a pickle heading into Auto Club, I have a feeling. Kat Batson there in 30th. Quentin Moore, after the contact we saw that he had with Jake Rogers under our next to last caution, he had to make an unscheduled pit stop in the closing stages. He finishes 3 laps down in 36th. And then Patrick Curtis, not the run that he needed. He came into this race 6th in points. This will definitely drop him into the danger zone as he finishes the only playoff contender out of the race in 39th. He was joined by the likes of Cole Deaver, Canario, Alexander Rowe, Alex Gray, and Mark Davidson. But that's going to do it here tonight from Bristol Dirt. No playoff contender joins Eli Bright as locked into the Elite 8 heading into next week at Auto Club. So right now only 1 driver confirmed moving on to the next round, but we got a couple of candidates that might head into Auto Club just needing maybe a top 20, top 25 run to be able to succeed in moving on to the next round of the playoffs. We're just going to have to wait and see. But thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full feature results. These are your rookie points and your overall points, as well as your updated chase points heading into Auto Club. Now, Auto Club isn't going to be for a couple of weeks, though. Pizza Hut X Series is taking an off week next week, and then we will have our first elimination race at the Auto Club Speedway. Tomorrow night, though, it is the second race of the first round for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers here at Bristol Dirt. And then next week, we're going to end up having the Last of Us Light Series. They're going to be racing at Lucas Oil Raceway, and we will see the first elimination race for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers at Indianapolis. Trucks and Pizza Hut Series off next week. We'll see all 3 of the main series back the following week at Auto Club Speedway. Till then, though, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching Production NNSCRA, Offline Racing at its best. Heather Gallant, first career Pizza Hut Series win here tonight at Bristol.